Several bullish signals are firing off for GTII. Let's go ahead and find out what those are in this video. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, this is ARCa coming at you with a GTII technicals, raw price action, and statistical thread of analysis on this Thursday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, so we're looking at GTII on the 12-hour chart right here, you guys, and you can see that we're still printing these indecision dojis, but we're still in good stance, okay, and definitely within the channel, within the ascending channel, which is absolutely bullish. Okay, now I wanted to talk to you guys about a few things. Okay, I just want to say this real quick. Okay, so if we decide to come back, before we continue, if we decide to come back and test that $1.56 zone at the knot 618, it's absolutely fine. It's just going to be a test of the bottom support here, and then before we continue onwards and upwards. Now, the reason why I can say that is because we were waiting for a very important signal to kind of appear, right? So we've been talking about, tomorrow is going to be the closure of this 3-day candle. Tomorrow is going to be the closure of this 5-day candle. So we did get that closure, and now we're able to see what it did to volatility versus momentum. So let's go ahead and refer to those charts now. Okay, you guys. So this is the 3-day chart, and please go ahead and notice that it is now pivoting towards the upside, just like we were talking about. Okay, so it seems to be respecting our trend line regression here. Okay, so very, very awesome times right here, you guys. So now volatility is still continuing its contraction phase, which is absolutely necessary in order for us to continue on our statistical upside. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying this is because the move is not invalidated, and it in fact is still moving on to that upside. Okay, so what is that statistical metric? Well, let's go ahead and go over those now. Okay, so let's just refer to these numbers here. So anytime that we have expanded into critical volatility, which is within the 90 percentile, and started a contraction phase to the downside alongside or paired with momentum suggesting an upside pivot, I have taken a metric of that upside thrust, of that iteration's upside thrust, the duration of the iteration, and the amount of times that the iterations or volatility versus momentum have guessed the upside correctly versus incorrectly throughout the entire trading history of the GTII asset in the 3-day chart. Okay, so as you can see here, these are all of my notes, right? So now upon that back test of volatility versus momentum, I have gathered these, out of all of these samples, this is the data set right here. Okay, so you're looking at a total of 31 iterations throughout the entire trading history of it. Okay, we have 21 out of those 31 guessed correctly to the upside, giving us an average upside accuracy of about 67.74% with a massive upside thrust of about 971.33% over the span of about 22.5 days. Okay, just a little over that. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is still the continuation of that statistical move. Okay, so please remember that these are statistics. They are not certainties. They are not to be taken as such either. Okay, so where would 971% put us? Well, that puts us at a very interesting level, right at the resistance of our ascending channel, which is very cool. And another thing of great confluence there is the fact that we do have, it's still kind of higher, right? So at about $23, we have the price objective from the triangle itself, this triangle. So let's go ahead and just show how to do that. So go ahead and apply a trend line from the hypotenuse of the triangle to the lowest point of the triangle, and then you apply it to the area of breakout, which is usually at about 65 to 70% to the apex of the triangle, which just so happened to be very, perfectly on. That is suggesting a total, a top side of about, let's see, about $23.16, right? So now the other target that we're looking at, statistically speaking, takes us to about $10.32, right around there. And that is actually sharing lots of confluence with, or confluence, with that 4-spot 618 at 10.06. Okay, so lots and lots of rhyming happening within these targets. Okay, so aside from that, please remember that we did have an all-time high of about $8.97, which is already is already kind of lining up with our statistical metric right over here, right? So very curious numbers that we're getting out from GTII. But the reason why I'm saying this is because it is still in play and it is still suggesting as such. Now, with the price action that we currently have, there is another interesting setup that's happening though, and I do have to express. I do have to express some type of something for this, right? Because it is suggesting another bullish signal, right? So from right down here to this, you know what? I think we can take it like this: a combination of wick to body, right? And then let me just apply. Let me move that out of the way, and this out of the way. Okay, there we go. I just wanted to make sure that I had the top side of the triangle, but I think it would be best for us to take it. Let's see, from this candle here. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Look, so just like this, and just a little bit of a touch of that body right there. So it looks right now like we're in the process of building a continuation pattern. Okay, so please remember that this is a symmetrical triangle, right? So symmetrical triangles do have they're bidirectional, right? So you can actually trade a symmetrical triangle to the downside and to the upside, but when you're trading an ascending triangle, outside of an or from an upside, that usually has a bias towards the upside. Okay, so how do we trade that? So let's just go ahead and take a trend line from the top side of the triangle to the very lower end of the triangle, and we apply it to the supposed area of breakout, which is usually at about, again, 65 to 70% of the to the apex of the triangle. So in this case, we're already there. Okay, so, and we just started this new 3-day candle. Okay, so if we were to apply that, it's taking us to a target of about $3.64. Okay, so, or $3.66, which just so happens to be right at the 1.272, which is under the 1.618. Okay, so very, very good price action suggestions here. Okay, so now if we want to take a little bit of a more controlled area of price action here, geometrically speaking, we can actually take an overall range I'm talking about from the short-term range. So from here, from this wick high to this wick low right down here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that and see what we have. We'll apply it just like this. And please notice here that it is taking us right upside of the 3.272, right under the 3.618. So very curious that even in this side, in the larger term time frame, is upside of the 1.272, under the 1.618. So still very much, geometrically speaking, I'm saying, very much following a lot of correlation here. So I like it a lot. Okay, so remember what I said. Usually these triangles tend to be bullish when they're being realized after an upside. Okay, so if this were to be realized from a downside, then yes, we have the downside risk, but please remember that this can be traded both ways. But right now the bias is leaning towards the bulls. The fact that we're actually getting this bullish formation suggesting a continuation to the upside, the fact that we're getting the 3-day momentum pivots right here to the upside and continuing on contraction, this is very, very much suggesting a continuation to the upside in the coming days and weeks. Okay, you guys, so now let's refer to the 5-day, and please go ahead and notice, oh wow, my apologies. Sorry about that, man. So anyway, please go ahead and notice that the 5-day iteration just ended as well. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying this is because now we're starting to get the upside continuation from the shorter time frame. Okay, so we're starting to cross that yellow line to the upside, which is absolutely bullish. Okay, so we're starting to get this upside pivot yet again. Okay, while contraction is continuing on the 5-day. So that is another statistical metric that we should take into account. Okay, so in this case, the completion of this metric is actually going to be at about $3.74. Okay, now why does that rhyme so much? Now please remember right over here that we're looking at $3.66 from the triangle upside. My goodness, guys, come on, man. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. You heard it here first. Okay, we're getting massive confluence from all kinds of backtests right here. Now this backtest, remember, this is the 5-day volatility versus momentum profile, and I have taken a metric of every single time we've actually started to contract from the critical volatility zone of critical expansion alongside or paired with momentum to the upside, right? So we started that. We started that down. I'm sorry. We started that contraction period right over here when we started getting that upside. So this is still not invalidated. In fact, it's still continuing. Okay. So of course we're going to get some, cycles like this, right, on the way up. But yeah, completing that cycle, it would essentially be at about $3.74, right around there. Okay, so I'm talking about a back test of this. I haven't completed the entire trading history. Actually, I've taken into account about 5 years or 6 years of trading, right? So a total of 9 iterations, of which 8 were guessed correctly to the upside, giving us an upside accuracy of 88.89% with an 183.05% move to the upside over the span of about 25.75 days, right? This is proof of work. So that move already fired, right? So we have already moved up several percentages to the upside. Okay, so right now, yeah, completing this upside move from the firing of the signal back here would actually entail a completion of it at about 373, 374, right around there. That's why we have that digit. Okay, so let's move on to the next chart and see what we got for the GTII asset. Okay, you guys, so please remember, we're at that support of this ascending channel. We're still riding it, right? We're still riding the waves. So let's go ahead and now refer to the last part of the analysis, which is actually going to be the RSI. So please go ahead and notice that we have an upside pivot on that 30-minute. Please remember, it lives out pretty fast too. Okay, so we're about to face critical support right here from the 4-hour RSI, and that is going to be the 14-day simple moving average before a bounce to the upside. Very good stuff. Very similar situation here with the 8-hour. Okay, so that's allowing the bulls to kind of reload before this thing actually takes off. All right, so this is still looking absolutely bullish. All right, so now notice on the buy daily that we are still pivoting towards the upside, and now the RSI signal is starting that ascent, right? So we're just getting that ascent, and we're knocking at the door of it. It is only, I mean, it's only a matter of time before we start breaking out of this, okay? And go ahead and now notice on the 5-day iteration that we are well within the grasp of the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile. Okay, very likely this can continue on to the upside. We've already used that 14-day simple moving average as support. Okay, you guys, this is looking very good for GTII. I'm essentially telling you that we, statistically speaking at least, we are on an uptrend, and we are due to continue on that upside from this moment. Okay, but it is going to take days and weeks for this to realize. Okay, as we are now starting to get those indications of the upside on the 3-day volatility versus momentum backtest. Okay, you guys, please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. Okay, you guys, I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be just fine. All right, so yeah, I think this is a pretty good place for me to leave off the video. Please remember to refer to the links in the description below if you would like to visit me on Twitter or join the ARCa Bulls trading community in Discord. Okay, you guys, but with that said, I wish you well a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, team.